Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode. It is me, Lee. There's Nelson here for another great episode, man. So, what's up, man? You good?
I'm great, brother. How about yourself?
And I can't complain, man. I can't complain. So, let's get into this debate, man. We have an interesting talk for today, man. We had an episode about Mount Rushmores. So that's basically like the goat of goats when you're talking about sports and basketball and everything. Go back and watch the episode to see what we talked about there. So
For
today
sure.
we're getting into a different debate when it comes around the GOAT topic. A lot of people tend to kind of discredit GOATs, sometimes. And I think that they just be like, GOATs are just kind of just there. You know what I mean? It's easy for them because they were born that way. It's in the
Mm,
genes, as people say. Like Steph Curry, he got it from his dad. You know what I mean? Michael Jordan, he's just born that way. He can't help but be great. LeBron is great because his mom and dad came together and the genetics just happened to make this mutation of a basketball player. You know,
mm.
it's just that's one side of the debate. And then you got the other half of people who are like, well, nah, man, you work for it. You know what I mean? It's God given, but you got to pull up something behind it. And so today we're gonna settle this debate and get into it, man, about how goats are created. What makes a goat a goat? Is it the mutation of the genes and the mom and daddy pool of genetics coming together to birth these goats, or is it them being in the lab working their craft of the goatness that they have? So, where do you lie on this side of the base, man? Is it genetics, or is it a little bit? Give them some more credit. Where it's skill, or is it genetics?
Um, I can't lie. I lean more towards the genetic side of it because, me personally, I feel like um, genetics. Number one, genetics have a lot to do with being an athlete in general. Just because if your mom and dad are athletes, or at least one of them, or if athlete being an athlete runs in your family, you have athletic genes just naturally. You know what I'm saying? So we all know somebody that just like came out the womb with a football or basketball, like always been like a few years ahead of his peers or his or her peers. Like we all know that guy that was just way more athletic than everybody else. When y'all was growing up, y'all was in the park playing, and this man, was the only one who could shoot from half court, and the rest of y'all couldn't make it to the rim. Like stuff like that. So I feel like genetics has the most to do with it. And so when we talking about creating like a GOAT, like when we talking about the best of the best, like not just a good athlete, not just a good basketball player or football player or baseball player, or whatever. If we talking about the GOATs of whatever sport and athletics, I feel I lean way more towards the genetic side. And I'll tell you why. Because the guys, the best of the best. Let me not even say like I feel like it's God given. Like let me say that. Like it come from above the like things we don't understand. Supernatural powers are giving us the goats that we know today. And this is why I believe that the best of the best that we know didn't have no like their parents 9 times out of 10 weren't even like good at the sport that they play. Like Michael Jordan, dad wasn't a great basketball player. Dad was not in the NBA, none of that. Mom neither. Tiger Woods, dad played golf, was not a pro like all-time golfer, nothing like that. Serena Williams, dad ain't play a lick of tennis. Ain't play a lick of tennis. Learn everything he needed to learn to teach his daughters how to play tennis. Taught Venus first, who was the older sister. And then, like, Serena was ingratiated into it. She wanted to play too. And so she came behind Venus. So she had the blueprint laid out in front of her. But parents ain't have nothing to do. Like, I mean, they taught her, obviously, but they didn't play a lick of tennis. She born good at it. Born with it. LeBron James, mama don't play no sports. We don't know who his father is. He doesn't know his father. You know, but I'm pretty sure we would know if his dad was like a big time NBA player, or even if he was in the NBA at all when LeBron James was born. The best of the best of the best parents ain't never been. They are never great players. Steph Curry, we can call him the GOAT of shooting. His dad was an NBA player. He was a good shooter, great shooter. Nobody ever said, man, Dale Curry was the best shooter to ever live. No one has ever said that. No one has ever said Dale Curry shoot better than Ray Allen or Reggie Miller or shoot Kyle Korver. Guys like that. Nobody's ever said that. It's just, he was a great shooter, but Steph come along naturally a great shooter. Like, and I'm not saying, it didn't take no, like, there was, I'm not saying that they didn't train or work at it or nothing, because obviously you have to cultivate your talent to make it into something. But I feel like the GOATs of every sport, that ain't nothing but the Lord. Like, the Lord was like, oh, Michael Jordan finna retire? All right, it's time to drop LeBron in there. Like, like I feel like it's a plan. God said if we make LeBron born in 1989, he should be coming out of high school right in 2003. Michael Jordan will retire in 2002. They'd be right on time. I feel like there was a plan. So that kind of how I see it. But what you think, man? Which way you lean in when we talk about this?
I'm a trainer, bro. So I'm rocking with the skill is developed and cultivated, man. So
That's
I think
understandable.
you made an argument against yourself, honestly. So you said how Jordan, I believe everything is God given. You know what I mean? There is a level of that, but for it to be not genetics, like you think Jordan had this joke. He was on David Letterman one day, and he was like, my mom was like 5'4", my dad is 5'10". I came out 6'6". I think my mom was sleeping with the milkman or something because it don't make sense how, you know what I mean? It's just, they ain't making sense. And so for him to be born of parents who don't have the genetics of a great NBA player, for Serena and Venus to come from a genetics of parents who don't have the tennis acumen, same thing for Tiger. Um, there's something to be said about coming from that background and still developing to become the GOATs that they are. So genetics wise, what you're born into says you should not be doing what you're doing. Like you said, LeBron, we don't even know who his dad is. I don't even know if he knows who his dad is. No disrespect or nothing, but it's just the situation that he has.
Mm,
And so when you look at how genetics are played, Steph Curry could probably be the genetics guy of, oh, his dad was a great shooter, so of course he's a great shooter too. Look at him and his brother are great shooters, so of course they're great shooters. But shooting isn't a gene. Shooting is a skill. Like golf is a very. I was talking to the guy who knows a lot about golf. He was saying how it's a very technical sport and how so much stuff around it changes. And like you have to play around the landscape, you have to beat your competitors, you have to play against yourself, you have to play against the elements, all the things that go against you in the golf. It's a very technical sport. You have to know which club to use, the conditions of the court, if it's rolling the greens, rolling fast, rolling slow, the fairways, all this stuff. You can't be born with that. Tennis is you have to
mm,
play on clay, you have to play on turf, you have to play on grass, then you can play on some other type of surface too. You're not born with the differences of that. You know what I mean? It's like to play basketball, you know how hard it is to play basketball, bro. Like that's not genetics. And I think that there's a high level of skill that goes into it that you're just not born with. So in my opinion, I feel like it's really more skill than it's genetics. Yes, genetics play a role into it because for Steph Curry, for example, you're born into a situation that cultivates skills a little bit easier for you.
mm,
Like Kobe, right? His dad played in the league, so he's going to be around hoopers at a high level a lot more than both of us are combined. Steph Curry is around NBA players his whole life and his whole career. So his environment cultivated him, almost forced him in a certain way to be great. Like you don't have any option but to be a basketball player when you're around this 24/7 like he was. So genetics play a role as far as your environment, I think so, but less of like what you come out to be. Because if that's the case, Michael Jordan kids should have been GOATs too, at least great NBA players. They stepped out in college. You feel me? So you can't just point to genetics and be like, oh, that's why they're great. Because that's the case. Bronny and what's the other dude name? That's the one I actually like too.
Bryce.
Bronny, Bryce. I actually
Bryce.
like Bryce. So that's the case. Bronny and Bryce should be goated too. That means Kobe's kid should have been goated too. So that means Steph Curry's kid should be goated too. So I can't say genetics are the reason why goats are the goats. They play a role in it, yes, but I believe the skill plays a way bigger advantage into it, or a bigger portion into it, than genetics do.
I get that because like that makes sense. That's a good point. That if genetics was the main reason, Michael Jordan kid should have been the next like big thing. Same thing for Bronny and Bryce, who are great basketball players, but they should be like the next big thing. Like so like it should be a continuation thing. It's not always it. That's not always it. But let me tell you a story from when I was in high school. No, I always got a story on every episode. So when I was in high school, played with this guy. I ain't gonna say his name because I don't want him to feel embarrassed or anything. But he was a buddy of mine. Played basketball with me. Good. He was a good dude. Like somebody who really loved and enjoyed the game of basketball. We was in the same grade and all that, so we came up together. But thing about it was, he himself was just not that good. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just being real. He was just not that good. And I remember in high school, he tried out obviously, and then ninth grade. And I don't think he tried out in ninth grade. I think he didn't try out till 10th grade. So in 10th grade, he tried out. He used to play pickup all the time outside, like where we play pickup at. He used to play pickup with us all the time and stuff, street ball. So then 10th grade, he decided to try for the team. Trials come, he in 10th grade. And the coach at that time, Coach Allen, he made a ninth grade team when he came. That was one of his like first like big things, like big changes. Like I want y'all to have a ninth grade team, so like y'all can get experience early. Ninth grade team, JV team, varsity. And so he tried out. He liked him enough to keep him, so he put him on JV. But he also wanted him to play on the ninth grade team. He said, "I want you to play with the ninth graders because you ain't never played, regulation basketball for whatever. This gets you a little more experience, a little more to learn." So he played ninth grade team, which to a lot of people might would have took offense to that. Like, I'm in 10th grade, you got me playing the ninth grade team. Why don't I just play JV? But he like, hey, if you think I need to do it, I'll do it. Whatever. He was not tripping. He was not offended. Nothing. He took. He was like, yeah, I bet I'll do it. And so I remember before the game, before the first ninth grade game, I'm watching, but I was on varsity in 10th grade, so I'm watching. And he said, "You got any like last minute advice before we play, bro?" I said, "You gonna mess up. Like I'm gonna tell you now, you gonna mess up. You gonna make some mistakes, but don't let that mistake you made don't linger on that. Just know that it was a mistake. You messed this up. You turned it over right here. You did this. You did that. Don't be hard on yourself. Just keep playing. It's on to the next play." And he was like, "All right, bet. Appreciate it." It's like, "Yeah, no problem, bro." He go out there, he playing, had a bad turnover. He like tried to, throw an assist. Somebody went out of bounds. He mad. He started, "Hey, bro, why'd I do that?" Like I can see him like hot, like he mad at himself. No, he messed up. I was like, "I just told this man, like you gonna mess up." I just told him. I can see it. So anyway, fast forward to 11th grade. He tried again. Coach still like he loved him because he worked so hard. He worked so hard, B. Like he one of them guys. He do anything. He'll run through a wall for you, for the team, for the coach. If the coach said, "Hey, I need you to run through this brick wall or we're gonna lose the game," he gonna shoulder first. Like he going. That's him. That's the kind of guy he was. So 11th grade, he tried out. Now you're in 11th grade. You can't really play JV, or you're not really supposed to play JV in 11th grade. It's supposed to be time you're supposed to be moving to varsity. But he not good enough. He better, but he still ain't good enough. So coach is like, "I'm gonna keep him. I'm gonna put him on JV again. Hopefully he be good enough but before the year over with to move to varsity." So, but he was on JV as an 11th grader. Played the whole season on JV. Never was good enough. He just never looked good enough to move up. Because if you playing JV in 11th grade, you're supposed to be the guy. You should be killing. But he wasn't. Like he just wasn't good enough. So fast forward to senior year. I remember in the summertime, I was thinking about him. I was like, man, like, he can't play JV as a senior. It's literally against the rules, like for him to be on JV as a senior. I'm like, man, is he gonna be good enough to play varsity? I remember he used to be outside at the outside court, like by himself, working on stuff. You can see him doing like dribble moves and shooting and stuff. One time I rolled by, I was in my mama's car, I rolled by, he was out there in the rain by himself in the rain. But he wanted to be better so bad. But you know what ended up happening to me? Our senior year came and he was not there on the first day of school. And I asked somebody, like, what happened to so and so? I just realized he ain't here. They said, oh, yeah, he changed school. I said, for real? He said, yeah, his folks ended up moving. So now he go to the school. He go to such and such school. I was like, for real? He said, yeah. He go down there. It's a little small high school. He go down there. He's starting varsity out the gate. So like out the gate, starting varsity. Like he they best shooter, all that. I was like, hey man, that ain't nothing but God, boy. That ain't nothing but the Lord, me. Because this boy was not gonna play with us. He was not gonna play, and I know my coach was not gonna want to have to cut him. Like, oh man, like you can mean tell me you gonna put a dude that played 9th grade team in the 10th grade and JV in the 11th grade, and then now you try senior, you gonna cut him? Like that was gonna be heartbreaking. But he ended up moving. Now he go to a school that's a little less competition, and now he was good. He was a good player there. He was a great player for them. And so this is my point. I say all that to say this. Sometimes hard work, and I hate that I had to say it this way. Sometimes hard work ain't enough to be who you think you should be all the time. Like, and what I'm saying by that is I could work day and night, hours and hours and hours, 3 times a day, 3 days, 4 days, whatever you want to do. I could drop out of school. I could do all this stuff and devote all my time to weights and basketball and running. That don't mean I'm gonna wake up one day and be as good as LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's just being real. Can I be good? Yes. Can I be great? Yes. Can I be better than I am today? Of course. But will I ever be LeBron James? Will I ever be Giannis Antetokounmpo? Will I ever be Michael Jordan? If I work on shooting every day for the rest of my life, 4 times a day, hours, whatever, will I ever be Steph Curry? No. That's just not how it goes. And like, that's why I say, like, when we talking about the best of the best, when we talking about GOATs, that's God-given. Like, that's God-given. Am I saying Steph Curry didn't work hours and hours on that shot? No, I ain't saying that. Am I saying LeBron ain't work hours and hours on his game? I ain't saying that. Same for Michael Jordan. Same for Serena Williams and Venus Williams. Same for Tiger Woods. Same for anybody else you want to call the GOAT. Michael Phelps. Same for Usain Bolt. All them other guys we named in the Mount Rushmore episode, all that. Those names we brought up, I'm not saying they don't work hard, because obviously they do, of course. But the everyday person could put in the same work that they put in, could do the same workouts, have the same trainers, be in the same gyms, whatever you want to say. That don't mean you're going to be them. And that's just being real. That's just being real. And like, I'm not saying that to discourage nobody, because at the end of the day, if you put the work in, you're going to be better than you was today. And I feel like that's the ultimate goal. It's you versus you at the end of the day. And every day I got to get up in the morning and say, am I better than I was yesterday? Or at the end, or should I say, at the end of every night, I look in the mirror and I was like, am I better than I was yesterday? And I think I am. Most nights when I go to bed, I feel like I got better that day. If I didn't, I know that. And I take that personally too. But the day I look in the mirror and be like, did I get closer to LeBron James today? Probably didn't. You know, just being real. So I feel like being the GOAT and the best of the best, that's something that's given to you. Not by your parents necessarily, like, but that's something you're born with. You feel me? Let me say it like that. I feel like you're born with a lot of that. And then you got to meet it in the middle with your work and your preparation, if that makes sense.
So, of course, I don't disagree. There's some very factual stuff that you said. But if we're putting a pie chart to this, I believe more of it does go to skill, because let's go back to your boy. All right. So let's say no, I don't go back to him. Let's
I
go to
don't
Jordan.
want to go back there. I don't want to go back there.
But nah,
Man.
it's just like so. Okay, I'll use this example. Right. So we all been in high school to where football team hooping. After football season, they're allowed to hoop. Right. So they come in the
Mm,
gym with us and they hooping. They're just like you can tell the difference between basketball players and football players. It's very obvious. And
right.
so genetically, them boys jumping out the gym. Dudes like shorter than me, like 5'10", he playing safety or D back or something, and that dude almost dunking. Like he's the fastest thing on the court, one of the best hops out there. He's ridiculous. Genetically, he's that's you can't train for what he has. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like for that, like it's crazy. But you see him on the court, it's like he look off. He can jump in it, he can run, but this ain't for him. Even on the football field, and that's supposed to be his environment. Even on the football field, it's like he seems wild. He's very athletic and he's good. He's so much faster. And you talk to him, do you train? Like, no, not really. Do you work out for it? No. Like Zion. Zion's a great example. He didn't
Mm,
train that hard for the body that he has, right?
mm,
Strictly genetics. But if it was strictly down to God given stuff to why goats are goats, Zion should be a goat. You know what I mean? Like genetically, if you're talking about genetics as far as the physical makeup of people, he's top 10 of all time athletes across the globe. Like what he's able to do genetically, ridiculous. He's up there with the LeBrons, he's up there with the Wilts, Shaqs, uh Bo Jacksons, like all them guys. Like you talking about the Mount Rushmores of physical athleticness, of genetics, he's
mm.
probably on that board of what we're talking about here. But nobody's having him as the discussion of the best player. Nobody's having a discussion of the best players of all time because he's lacking something that we've all talked about, and that's skill. Jordan was one of the most athletic guys, hands down, of his generation of that age. Still to this day, he's probably still one of the most athletic guys. But there's something that separated him, which was skill. Yes, guys that can
Mm,
jump and run like Jordan. Not exactly on his level, but Clyde was pretty athletic. Clyde Drexler was pretty
mm.
athletic. He was fairly good. Sean Kemp was very athletic, a good athlete, God given stuff. Why is Barkley talked about as a better player than him? Why is Carl Malone talked about as a better player than him? It's a gap there. So
Mm.
yeah, your God given stuff puts you in a certain category, puts you in a certain class. But what separates you is the skill. Tim Duncan is a GOAT. Athletically, trash. Nobody talks about him when talks about physical makeup. Like he don't look like he touched the weight room, bro. Like what are you doing here?
Facts.
Skill, Dirk. Oh my goodness, boy. You play basketball? How you get down the court? You're so slow. Probably the greatest shooting big man of all time. Like this. No, I'll take that back. The greatest shooting big man of all time. Like, come on
There
now.
you
Like
go.
skill. Like, come on now. Skill. And so, especially when we're talking about a skill sport like basketball, there's something like the physical aspect of God given talent puts you ahead of certain people. But now there's a class that it puts you in. What separates you from that whole class of people is what you're able to separate from is the hard work. So your boy
Mm,
working hard, that's cool, but you're missing a few things in that ingredients to make you in that certain discussion. So yeah, you working hard, you training, that's all good, but like, do you know how to train? That's another discussion. Yeah, you working
mm.
out by yourself, but you working on the right things. You're working on your handles, but you need to be a shooter. That's why you're not making the team. You ain't have to be a great ball handler. You ain't have to be a great shooter. We need you at this threshold to fit what we need for the team. You know what I mean? A threshold because you're working on defense, and I'm like D'Antoni. I don't care about defense. I want to run a gun. You feel me? So it's like, yeah, you can train and work your butt off, but are you smart enough to work on the right things? That's what training comes in. That's what right coaching comes in. But that's not this conversation. And so, yes, genetically you might be God given with a lot of things, a lot of parts of what makes up you as a player. Tom Brady from draft to now, two completely different people.
Facts.
Physically, terrible. Like, bro, somebody get this man on a diet plan, get him on a weight room program so he can look like a quarterback in the NFL. But mentally, totally different. Peyton Manning, one of the smartest quarterbacks of all time. We all know that, bro. Like he wasn't the most athletic guy given like besides his height, what else was he really given with? I don't know too much about football like that to really go in depth, but you can't be God given with that IQ for football. You feel
Yeah.
me? So it's like God given stuff doesn't play a big role into it, but like the skill is more important because that's what separates you. Like we got plenty of Michael Jordan athleticism type of guys. Like we talking about Spencer Dinwiddie said he's 6'6" with a whatever inch vert. That's 30 of them on each team in the NBA right now. But there's a reason why Jordan's still the GOAT is because the skill separated him, the mindset separated him. It wasn't just the God given ability that he had. Yeah, he's 6'6" with a 40 vert. Cool. Clyde had the same thing. Scottie Pippen had the same thing. Like genetically, he's not that superior to where it's just like, oh, nobody can touch him at all. It's just like you can't touch him because he's skilled with that too.
Mm.
At some point, the physicals part went down. So now what? Oh, let me get the fadeaway. Let me get my footwork right. Let me get my shot better. Let me get the mid range. Let me get the post game. So you started to add all this stuff over time to now it makes sense. And it's like, oh, that's the reason why he's so great because he's out thinking and more skilled than all you guys. So I think GOAT discussions, like we said, talking about GOATs now. Yes, genetics play a big role. Yes, the God given ability plays a big role into it. But there's a reason why some people we want to put in that discussion, but we can't because man, you got all the tools, man. Why didn't you make it to college ball? Man, when you got all this stuff, why didn't you make it to pro? Man, you could have got drafted. Yeah, you personally know plenty of guys who just are just as athletic as you, probably more athletic than you. They ain't playing ball nowhere right now.
For sure. Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? So it's like guys who probably 7 foot, just as athletic as you, but you're still playing college ball for some reason because you're more
Mm.
skilled than they are. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying God given stuff does not play a role, and that's very important. I would never take God out of the equation in any of this stuff. But
Mm.
God gives you. This is my last point. It's like we always pray for. It's funny. Somebody gave this message one day, a long time ago. He was like, if we prayed to God for, let's say I prayed to God for a desk, right? I don't know why I'm thinking desk, but that's like I got one right here, so that's whatever. What he'll do is
I got you. I
he'll
wish.
give you he'll give you a tree, he'll give you an axe, and he'll give you the machines, whatever. He'll give you the book to learn how to do it. He'll give you the people around you know how to make a desk and shave it, the carpenter, all this stuff, right? And we're looking at all this stuff crazy, like, bro, what are we? I asked for a
Mm.
desk, like, what is this? Like, what are we doing here, bro? Why am I getting? Why I got a hammer and saw edge, guy? Like, it's my hold on, bro. Is my phone working? Like, God, hold on now. What's up, man? G, like, come on, bro. I asked for a desk. Like, why am I sitting here?
Gee.
Why? That's what I call it. Why are we sitting here with the tree and these tools and the carpenter? You asked for this, right? I gave it to you. So yeah, God gives us all these things packaged up inside to it, but it's up to us to take this initiative to get all this stuff to put together. You feel me? So it's like,
Mm.
yeah, God given plays a big role into it, but LeBron could not be LeBron if he didn't put the work in. You feel me? Like, yeah, people kiss their butts and stuff, but like he had to put the
Mhm.
work in to earn certain stuff. Like, you feel me? So um yeah, you might have certain stuff put together for you, but you have to put the work in and separate your stuff and really take that next step to it. So when it comes to the GOATs, man, you could have been just a good player, a great player. There's a reason why you're a GOAT. Because it's hard for you to win all these championships and get all these
Mm.
stats and get all these accolades and awards without you being a certain level of skill. So that's why I just feel like the GOATs really come down to being more skilled than it is just genetics or God given ability. So mental toughness is one of the biggest things that I know pretty much every coach preaches to the players, and also one of the biggest factors in the players' game is the mental toughness. So I know that a lot of coaches wish their players would be mentally tougher, and they struggle with teaching them and understanding, what mental toughness is to apply it to the game. So to help you guys out, I wrote a whole ebook breaking down what mental toughness is, different factors that make up what mental toughness is, and different ways that you can apply it to your life and your game, because it's a good blend of the player and the person, of how both sides of you can grow in your mental toughness. So I broke it down in the ebook, the Mental Toughness Playbook. The whole ebook is about 50 pages, a little less than 50 pages, easy to read, a simple breakdown of what mental toughness is, different factors and different areas in it that impact your mental toughness, and how you can grow and develop in there. So if you're interested in it, send a description below. So go ahead and look into hit that link and invest into yourself by investing into your mindset and mental toughness. Because I personally believe that um, your brain and your mind is so much powerful than you give it credit. So invest into your mindset, and then your body will follow afterwards. So the Mental Toughness Playbook, get the ebook below. If you tune into it, thank you. I appreciate it. If not, it's fine. Get back to the rest of the episode. See you later.
That's a fair point. I like that. I like that analogy, man. That story. Man, that's funny. But you're right. It's definitely a meet in the middle kind of thing. Cause like there's a reason you hear stories about like um you hear stories about Mike and how hard he worked and he hardest working guy on the team, and he get all other people for not working hard. You hear stories about Kobe. We all know the Mamba stories about being in the gym at this time, at that time, and being on people like, why would I pass you the ball? I know you don't work hard, this and this and this, you know. And then there's stories about LeBron now that's like that. You know, Phil Handy was just like, man, he felt like Braun was phoning it in all season, like not playing hard. He's like, man, like this dude, he don't really want it for it. He ain't really got it, you know, because Phil been around Kobe. He's like, man, this dude, man, like he don't really want it for it. And then when the playoffs came and Braun got in that mode, he was like, hey man, I owe you an apology. Like I'm
Yeah.
saying, like, so there is a fair amount of work that go into it, obviously, like a huge amount of work, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So like even with me, I can use me as an example. So, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna use this opportunity to shout out my guy Carl Ivy. Carl Ivy is our grad assistant here at CSU, right? And also our volunteer assistant. My first year here, name was Stephen Peoples. When I first got here, I was trying to make that adjustment to being on this level. You know, I was struggling for a good little minute, and you know, everywhere I've been a good player. Obviously, high school, good player, all county, all that. You know, uh, JUCO, you know, my sophomore year JUCO, first team all conference, first team all state, you know, all conference, um, all that good stuff. Led the league in blocks, led the league in rebounds, you know. So everywhere I've been up until this point, I've been a good player. Then I get
Mm-hmm.
here and I'm struggling, so I'm trying to make that adjustment, obviously. So when I first get here, Coach Stephen Peoples kind of take me under his wing. He was like, "You need to start working out with Steven, you know, on your own time, you know, get in the gym." So Coach Steven, nice enough to train me. He's like, man, whatever, we'll work around your schedule and we'll get it in. So we started working out at least 30 minutes a day before practice. At least 30 minutes. Just fundamental stuff. Jump hooks, miking, shooting, stuff like that. Stuff to, you know, make sure I'm ready for my little opportunities to score. So, but that while I was doing those workouts, I was playing better, working out like that every day, consistently. I played better consistently doing that. So then after my first year here, Coach Steven get an opportunity to go to a different school. He takes it. Happy for him, you know, good for him. Carl Ivy comes. He's the new grad assistant. Carl played here the year before I came. That was his last year playing here. And then now he comes back as the grad assistant coach. So me and Carl start working out. Me and Carl working out, and he like making me develop better post moves, better footwork, stuff like that, better moves, and my game take a big jump, goes up, double my stats, all that. And so that that jump that I made training with Carl, I got to credit Carl for that because it's like, you know, I would not be able to do it on my own. I was using the moves that he taught me. He was giving me, he was training me in spots and things like that, that I would be in real game situations. Like, you gonna be here. Like that would he would say stuff like that. Like when we run this play, you gonna be here. So I'm giving you this so you know what to do. So you got something to go to when you're in this position. And then in games, I used to be in the do moves or whatever. Someone work, I'd be like, I'll go to him like, what you think I should have did? He said, I think you should use your left or some stuff. It'd always be simple. It'd always be simple like that. But somebody watching the game see it better than you in the
Mm-hmm.
game. But that's kind of how we got to where we are now. And so now my game is on a whole nother level than it was a year ago. And I credit Carl to that. It started with Steven, so I got to give him his credit too. But I credit Carl the most for that because you know, he put me in position to be ready for when my name was called, and it was. And now I'm one of the guys we look to in certain scenarios. And so I'll be the first one to tell you, hard work means something, training means something, skill development means something. Because I got all that. Like I work hard. I had to develop my skills with somebody. I had to train every day like by myself. Like me and him, just me and him, no team stuff. Like me and him, we doing team stuff, but it's got to be me and him too because I need the extra. So that I never discredit that. So shout out to Carl and Steven for that. But I just know like the things that LeBron James like worked for. I just know he was born with. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I know Michael Jordan born with the stuff he doing. And he just had to work to make sure it got to where he could be. He maximized his potential. And I feel like that's all that is. What was God given get you this far, but to maximize, you got to work for the rest of the way. You got to push the needle. It's on you to make it as far as you want to make it. And so I think that's all it comes down to is where those two things meet in the middle. Like when people say luck is hard is where hard work meets opportunity. I mean preparation meets opportunity. I feel like it's just like that. It's like where hard work meets that God given ability. That's when you get a GOAT. That's where you get a Mike. That's where you get a Kobe. That's where you get a Bron. That's where you get a Steph. Where hard work meets that God given ability, that God given talent. So for you to maximize your potential, push it to the max, get everything you can get out of it. And so that's just how I see it. Like I just don't think people like I said, like ain't no skill development in the world to turn somebody into Steph Curry. You got to be born with half of it, at least half. And like you said, we put a pie chart up, man. I feel like that God given ability leaning towards that 60, 70 range. That hard work in that 35, 40 range. You know what I'm saying? Like if I had to make my own pie chart, because like I said, like I had a homeboy in high school work way harder than me. I'll be the first to tell you. Granted, he went 6'7". You know, he can't help that, but he was tall enough to be somebody point guard, and he worked way harder than me. I'll be the first to tell you. I never say I outworked him. Never. I worked in my own way. I worked hard, but him, nah, he worked way harder than me.
Mm-hmm.
But like the work he put in wasn't enough to push him ahead of me in talent and in skill and all that. Like he never passed me. You know what I'm saying? But the work he did make him better. But I was born with more, and that's not unfortunate. I want to say I was going to say that's unfortunate, but it's not unfortunate. It's just how it shook out. You know what I'm saying? He was born with things I don't have, obviously, but you ain't gonna get into all that. I was born with more in the realm of basketball, like just given to me by the Lord above, you know. And then I worked to cultivate the rest of it. So, I'm trying to maximize my potential, be the best Nelson I can be. And so I just feel like more of that comes from something that ain't have nothing to do with us.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I put it. A lot of what I have when we talking about basketball, it ain't have nothing to do with me. You know, I came into this world and I had it, and so that's just what I see.
You remind me of the Jay-Z quote. He was interviewed one time and he was saying how we're all born with a certain level of genius. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? We all have a genius within us with something. You know what I mean? Like LeBron's jeans obviously is basketball. Kobe's jeans is in basketball. Serena's is in tennis. Tiger's in golf. Michael Phelps was in swimming, and uh, Tyson's was in boxing. You know what I mean? We all have a
Mm-hmm.
certain level of genes within us in different areas. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
so it's just up to us to tap into that genius, right? So God put a GOAT level of greatness inside of everybody, but it's up to me to tap into whatever that is. So specifically speaking, basketball, I ain't gonna go too broad into this to keep it, narrow than what we're talking about. So let's say 50 basketball players, right?
Mm-hmm.
He put in each of them 50 guys a GOAT level of basketball talent, and he got a whole Hall of Fame GOAT level career inside each of these 50 guys. But there's a reason why we only really have about 2 to 5 guys in the conversation of who's the GOAT. There's a reason why.
Mm-hmm.
50 guys had that seed tapped into them of being the GOAT. There could have been a guy better than Jordan. People talk about how Len Bias could have been better than Jordan. People talk about how the Big O was better than Jordan. People swear up and down. Uh, Grant Hill, if he stayed healthy, he would have been better. Like, we can go on and on about other people who was or could have been whatever. Too many dudes from the NBA have a story of homie in the hood, man. I remember Chris Webber. I think it's Chris Webber. He was talking one time. He was like, "Man, this is dude who was killing me, bro. He was 10 times better than me, but the situation he was in held him back. I'll just say that it held him back to where he couldn't go further than what I did. That's nothing to do with my ability. He was obviously more able than I was to be better at basketball, but
Mm-hmm.
the environment that I was in allowed me to go forward. You know what I mean? Um, Sometimes two guys are on equal playing field as far as ability of God given ability, and the environment is what pushes one guy forward or pulls one guy back. So kind of going back to my Steph Curry point, where how people say his talent is God given or his ability is God given, and I feel like the environment is really what's God given, so to speak. Like,
Mm-hmm.
certain environments make things come easier to some people than it is to other people. So if I'm growing up in a household full of mathematicians, math is gonna come a little bit easier to me more than likely. I might not like math, I might hate math, I might not be as good in math, but it's gonna come a little bit more easier to me than it is other people. If you grow up in a household full of English scholars and all you do is quote poetry and listen to the poems and listen to Shakespeare, to Jay-Z and Tupac and Lauryn Hill, you know what I mean? Like, the environment that we're in uh create something in us differently. So my mind's going to work a lot more towards the science and math mind when yours is going to be catered more towards words and English and poetry. So the environment that we're in is pushing us and catering us to have certain stuff a little bit more naturally. If you listen to any artist that's popping, bro, they're gonna say how they grew up around music their whole life. I'm listening to this
Mm-hmm.
thing about Lauryn Hill, and she was saying how her mom was an English teacher or something like that. Tupac's mom was an English teacher or something like that.
Sure.
Kanye's mom was like, these guys are growing up in the environment of words and music. So that environment around them pushes them to have that thing a little bit easier than it was. And so um it's not just the fact that it's God given, it's the environment that pushes them to. But within that environment, they're getting certain skills that an outside person would be able to get. So I'm learning words on a regular. I'm reading the dictionary and I'm learning different words. I'm around this environment that helps me sharpen my skills to be a better writer or to be a better musician, to be a better artist. So Steph Curry and Kobe are cultivated in these environments that cater them to be a better basketball player a little bit easier than it would be for somebody else. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So the environments that we're in can either push us forward or pull us back to what we're going to. So because Jordan grew up in a certain environment in North Carolina, that something in that we don't know about that probably he doesn't even fully aware of, pushed him to be a little bit better than anybody else around him. You feel me? So I think the environment plays a bigger role than I think when most people think about was God given. Not saying that not what you're talking about, but I'm saying like, oh, it's just easy for him to do it. Like, no, certain stuff comes naturally. What I'm trying to say. Like, I'm not explaining the
Yeah.
best, but it's like certain stuff comes a little bit easier to other people than us other people. You feel me? So, from my teaching aspect, I think about it like this: we all have different ways we like to learn. You know what I mean? You might learn audibly, somebody might learn visually, somebody might learn kinetically, which is hands on, all type of stuff, right? So
Hmm.
if you're around a teacher who does visual, who's if I learn visually, more likely I'm gonna teach you visually. So if I got 10 students and half of them do visual and half of them do audible, half of them are obviously gonna do a lot better and have a lot better results than the other half. But it's not their fault. It's not that they're not great at this. It's just that the environment that they're in makes things so much easier for them to soak in the information that's given to them. So Kobe being in certain environments, LeBron being in certain environments, it soaks in the greatness that he's, around. The skill comes a little bit easier than it is for him. So yes, it is God given, but the environment catered to his skill to grow a little bit sharper and a little bit naturally than what somebody else had to work through. So that's why I feel like the skill level is more to it. So like you said, yours would be uh 60-70% of God given or genetics. I'm from the exact opposite. I flip it to where it's more of skill. You know what I mean? So the environment is like a gray area type of thing. But even within that environment, you have to adapt and build your skills more and more to where it flows out of you easily. So like Steph Curry didn't sit here and just be born with his shot. If you I forgot when the article came out, but he had an article where he said his dad literally broke down his shot when he was like in middle school, maybe
Hmm.
middle school or in high school. And he was like, "Man, I used to shoot, from the hip, basically, pulling from the hip." My dad was like, "Nah, bro, that's not finna work here next level. So you finna break down your shot till you really shoot, and it comes up a little bit different. That's skill." But everybody doesn't have that training and teaching because they're not in that environment. So that's why I
Right.
feel like the skill level is cultivated from the right environments being around you to make you a GOAT. So yeah, everybody has certain level of God given ability, certain level of God level talent given to them, but the skills what separates you, and the skill comes a little bit easier when you're in certain environments, and you can't necessarily sit here and just say that it's given to him, or it's just like, oh, Steph Curry, he was just born that way. Like, nah, let's not discredit all the hours you spend in the gym. You feel me? So
Hmm.
that's for me where I feel like skill comes a little bit more in that equation or that pie chart we talked about when it comes to being a GOAT and a legend at your sport. So, man, I just feel like the skill has a little bit more say so when it comes to being the greatest of all time.
So give me your pie chart there. Let's break it down into actual pie chart. So if I had to make mine, I put it like this. I think I put it like this. I say it's 50% genetics or God given ability, and then I say it's 40% hard work and skill development. Then I say it's 10% luck. Like you got to sprinkle a little luck in there. Can't get
Yeah, for
hurt.
sure.
You know, be around the right people. Don't hang out in the wrong crowd. Things like that. Born in the right environment or a good environment. It don't even have to be the what the quote unquote right environment is, because we all living in different areas, cities, spaces, places, neighborhoods, all that. So it's about 10% luck.
Hmm.
Like you said earlier, Grant Hill might have been better than Michael Jordan. Tracy McGrady might have been better than Michael Jordan. Darren Rose might be better than Steph Curry. But like we just never saw that. So that's where the luck is sprinkled in. So if I had to build a pie chart for the GOAT gene or like the GOAT, let's say the GOAT pie chart, 50% God given ability,
Hmm.
40% skill development and hard work or training, 10% luck. So what would
Hmm.
you say?
Wait, wait, hold on. Time out. Hold on real quick. I just got a quick question for you. All right, okay, look. So where did you go? Like, what are you going after right now in your life? Right? Are you looking to make the team? Okay, you didn't make the team, but you're looking to figure out how to make the team coming up. Or maybe you made the team, but you're on the bench, you're not playing like you want to. Or maybe you're playing a little bit like you want to, but you're not a starter, or you're not finishing the games like you want to. Or maybe you're the player, but you're just not quite where you want to be as far as recognizing your county or maybe your conference or your state, whatever you're trying to be recognized at. Um, Whatever your goal is, I want you to forget about that. Like put it on the board or something, write it down in your phone and just put it somewhere and tuck it away. I want you to take that goal, throw it over there, and now I want you to write a new one, right? I want you to write PROGRESS. Progress. I want you to make progress your goal. Okay? So take that big goal that you have now and take it, put it in your back pocket, and just figure out how to make progress and work towards that goal. Because sometimes we get so caught up on the goal of the end goal where we want to be that we don't keep working forward and working towards that goal like we should be. So every day I want you to wake up and figure out how to just make progress. How can I be better today than I was yesterday? It's new tomorrow. The same exact thing. Figure out how can I be better today than I was yesterday. It doesn't matter how good you are or what you did yesterday. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Your goal today is to make progress be better than you was yesterday. And so if you need a reminder about that, all I want you to do is to have a reminder. I want you to go ahead and get one of these hoodies. Or you get you a t-shirt. I got a couple options for you. So get you a hoodie or a t-shirt just to remind yourself, just to keep it as a memento to be like, man, today's goal is to make progress. My only goal is to make progress. Progress is the only goal. So if that fits you and you feel like you need to make progress to be your goal, go ahead and hit the link in the description below and invest into yourself, invest into that reminder. Treat it like an alarm clock to remind you that you need to make progress. Make sure that you're focused and being intentional about the work that you had today. So progress is the only goal. Hit the description below to invest into yourself. It's not about me. Investing into yourself to remind yourself that progress is my goal for today. So that's enough for me, man. I hope I didn't interrupt you. Get back to the episode. That's tough for me, man. I would have to throw. I don't know if you're really like me, but I read this book called Outliers, and it really like messes with your brain when you talk about like the greatest people of all time. Like you're talking about how Bill Gates had certain opportunities put to him to where it just made sense. If you don't like, if you read Outliers, you understand what I'm going to talk about here. So I can't just give it 10% luck when you talk about that. If you're talking about just like certain stuff is just like lucky. You know what I mean? Just certain, like you said, preparation meets opportunity. When hard work meets opportunities. When hard work plus preparation meets opportunity, whatever, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah, I
That
got you.
quote
I
can't
got
come to me right now. I'm trying to keep my brain on other trip. Anyway, so
you.
I think that level is luck. So I would say 10% of that is like that level of luck. But then there's like another 20 or 30% of just the environment that you're in that you can't necessarily take credit for. You feel me? Like I said before about Bill Gates, right? This is a whole story about him and how the timeline of where computers came into and like the certain school that he was at, they only had access to certain level of technology that no other school had. So it's like that's still luck, but that's like a other side of luck that like it's just crazy. So I would give luck in total probably about 30% maybe.
Mm.
So 30% luck of just opportunity, whatever. Um, I would have to say I got 70% left.
I got 70%. I got a lot to fill up here. Ooh.
My phone battery, man, 70%. All right, so 70%. Um, I'll say 50 skill. And yeah, I throw the rest to just God given. You know what I mean?
Throw
So
the rest.
yeah, the rest I get the rest of God. So
So
technically you could,
20%.
yeah. Cause think about it, bro. Like there's a certain level like Steph Curry's skill. He's not great because he's athletic. It's skill. Kyrie is skill. Kobe is skill. Like these are skilled players. We're not talking about
Yeah.
how high they can jump, how fast they can run. Like what about Kyrie's greatness is God given. No offense to what he is giving, you know what I mean? But like he's 6'1", 6'2". You know what I mean? Like
You
his
don't
love
think,
for skill.
but you don't think Kyrie wasn't born like able to handle the ball though? Like I ain't saying he born doing the Kyrie moves he doing. Obviously that's work for. But I'm saying you don't think his base level. Kyrie at 5 years old and every other little boy and girl at 5 years old. You don't think Kyrie was handling the ball better than them? Kyrie at 10 and little Johnny down the street at 10, Kyrie probably was handling it a lot better. Like, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. Like, his base, his starting point it's got to be above the rest. Like, I just know he was in somebody like Pee Wee basketball league or something. And he was that kid, like you see on Instagram and stuff now, every now and then be that video of a kid like crossing another kid, laying somebody. You'd be like, yo, who is this boy? Like, he like 8.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me that's not Kyrie. It just went on Instagram back in the day. You can tell me that went Kyrie. You can't tell me that went Allen Iverson. You can't tell me that went whatever small guard you want to say. Like, they base had to be higher than the average kid they age. And that's what I'm talking about. Because like 4 and 5, that's not training. He born with it. Ain't nobody train him to cross nobody at 5. I just know that's what the ability is. Like that's what I feel like that's where he was at that time. Same thing for like LeBron. LeBron even said it. He said he was born with like high IQ. He said he always had high IQ for the game of basketball since he started playing. He saw things that other guys couldn't see. Nobody taught him that. Nobody said, hey, when this kid he pass it to him like this, it's going to get there. Like, stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about. They base level of talent, base level of skill, base level of IQ higher than the rest. And that's where I feel like the God-given ability is. They already on a head start. And that's why no matter how much work or if we do the same drills and skills that they doing, we can't catch up because they born with a head start. They born with it. If me and you on a track and we running a 100-meter dash and you standing at the 30-meter line and I'm at the start point, it's gonna be hard to catch you. And if the race decided who the best track runner was, you'll probably be the best track runner. Like, and that's what I'm saying. I feel like Bron and Mike and Kobe and Kyrie and Steph, they started on the 30. This ain't nothing but a 40-yard dash.
If you hear about Kobe's story, bro, he said about the only thing that really separate him, I think there's a certain level of God givenness of the GOAT gene. I think the only thing that's really GOAT gene that is like unexplainable is a mindset. And that's what Kobe had that separated him from the other 8-year-olds, because he was saying how he was playing overseas and it's just like he wasn't good. He was terrible. Like he was trash. His words. I was terrible. I trained and worked my butt off. He just noticed, man, like, can't none of y'all go left. Like all of y'all are trash going left. So guess what? My mindset says everybody sucks going left. Let's make everybody go left. Boom. Now he was like an amazing player. Is that God given? Is that trained?
But let's put you another way.
Bro, he said he sucked. He said he sucked. His words said I suck compared to everybody else. I suck, but yet I'm outsmarting you. Come on, man.
You're right. That you are absolutely right. That's hard. And you know, there are guys that work hard and make it to a high level. Like there are guys. I'm not saying like if you ain't NBA ready right now, you'll never be. I'm not saying that at all. You can put the work in to get to where you want to be. Obviously, I am living proof. But this is my thing. So what you just said, the story you just gave.
Mm-hmm.
What was stopping every other 8-year-old from saying these guys can't go left? He said, he ain't say my dad told me that. He ain't say, yeah, my coach said force them left. He ain't say nothing like that. He said, I realized that nobody could dribble with their left hand. So I started forcing everybody left and then I scored 100 points. Like that's I feel like that's part of God given. Like
Mm-hmm.
like he's because but that's the main thing. Nobody had to tell him. And I feel like things that nobody taught you and nobody had to tell you, that's God given. Like
Mm-hmm.
if I couldn't give it to you if me another person didn't give it to you, if your mama didn't give it to you, your dad didn't give it to you, your coaches, your trainers, another player, if they didn't give it to you, you just did it on your own. That's God given. For Kobe to be 8 playing other 8-year olds and realize these other 8-year olds can't dribble with their left hand and take advantage of that, that's God given because other 8-year olds wasn't thinking that. That's what I'm saying. Other 8-year olds, you know what happens when you force an 8-year old left and steal the ball? Man, you play good defense. Like, they don't think, man, I can't dribble with my left. They don't think, man, they really look at it like, man, this dude locking me up. What's happening? They don't even think about the fact that they can't dribble with their left hand. But Kobe thought about it. And that's what I'm saying. And like obviously Kobe, he said he sucked, he said he was bad, but his mindset and like what's really goaded about Kobe? It was his mindset, his mind for this Mamba mentality. It was already in him, ingrained in him at an early age. That's proof. It's ingrained in him. He want to win. How can I get like I'm not good? How can I win? How can I beat these guys? They can't dribble with their left hand. That sounds like a grown man thinking, don't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like come on, like, and that's what I'm talking about. It don't always have to be an athletic standpoint or a skill standpoint. Like I said with Bron. Bron said he always had a high IQ, stuff like that. Michael Jordan said he always been competitive, like ultra competitive. Like it's certain things that nobody gave them. They just born with it, and it made them who they are with the work that they put in. And that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to get at. And Cole was one of them, like you said.
What put Kobe in the GOAT discussion is his skill level. The reason why we say he's the greatest of all time. We had this conversation before when we talked about how Kobe shouldn't be in the GOAT discussion. The reason
Mm-hmm.
why is his skill is so far and above anybody and everybody else. Nobody is as skilled as this man that has touched the basketball before. So
Mm-hmm.
when we're looking at that, the skill is what put him in that conversation. And so, like you said, yeah, you might be starting at the 30, but if you start at 30 and you because you don't have the lung capacity, you ain't training your legs, you ain't training all the other stuff. So yeah, you might have the God given head start. Like I kind of hate this quote because it's not 100% true, but I get it. When they say hard work beats talent, when talent doesn't work hard, cool, whatever. Give me a talented team over your hardworking team because your team can still, like I said before, your boy working harder. He ain't make the cut. So what's up here? You feel me? So not
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah,
say,
yeah. That
not to
was
say,
real. That was the real. He
you
working
know.
hard, but he ain't better. He didn't make the cut.
So yes, that quote is true. Hard work beat talent when talent does not work hard. Granted, yes. But to your point, and the credit you for saying is like, yes, there's a certain level of God given head start that a lot of people have. And so yes, you're giving this head start in certain things, but just as easily as you got the head start given, I can hawk you down, bro. Like I've seen too many 4x4s and 4x1s where one team got a good little distance. Like you talking about, oh, that's in the bag. They got it. Oh no, somebody coming behind you and they finna walk you down. I've seen it too many times with my own 2 eyes where somebody just coming. You got a nice little, you got a whole 100 head start. You got a 200 head start. No, you don't, bro. I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming. Got you. Dang, how you get? He ate you right. Same thing in life. Yeah, this person got a God given ability. Andre Iguodala is one of the smartest players in the game. Rondo's one of the smartest players in the game. IQ just as far as up there as LeBron. Draymond Green is just as smart as him. Easy. We all had this conversation before. Draymond Green said how John Morant's in that conversation too about being the smartest IQ players in the game. I've heard about how Jimmy Butler is like low key in that class too. And so, yeah, you might have LeBron's level IQ. Let's take Andre Iguodala and Draymond. Those are great examples. So Iggy's about 6'6", 6'7". Draymond's around the same thing, same build. LeBron's about 6'8", 6'9", so he has a little bit more on him. Athletically, Iggy was crazy. Go watch young Iggy when he's in Philly. A little bit of the Nuggets too. Like we know he was ridiculous, right? Draymond is IQ's off the charts. We all know how smart that dude is. But there's a reason why LeBron James is in the GOAT discussion. Those two aren't. It's not just the IQ, because obviously IQ wise, I'm here with you. Iggy, as probably just athletic as LeBron was, he at his peak, he was probably right there with LeBron. And so there's something to separate LeBron that the other guys didn't have. He's a way better shooter than either one of those guys. Handles, got that. Defense, that's probably debatable. We could probably debate that on who has the best defense out of those three.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Finishing, probably got that too. And all these things are skills. It's not you just giving with. Yeah, you might have a little bit of a head start with certain stuff, but there's a certain level of I'm walking you down with this head start that you have. And so, um, yes, you might have a God-given head start. You might have certain God-given things, but that means nothing at all if you're not willing to outwork somebody else next to you. It's like you said, we all said before, man. Most colleges are made up of the top high school guys at every level, at every state, whatever. Kentucky has the best guys from whatever high school across the nation. Duke is made up of the same thing. UNC, UCLA, Kansas, all these organizations and programs are built up with the best guys at this level. There's a reason why they are making it to the next level and the other guys around them aren't, because they outwork somebody who is next to them. There's a reason why these guys are not making it to the pro level, because somebody is outworking the next guy next to them. I mean, I used to think Tyler Hansbrough would have been a dog in the next level before I understood basketball. But Tyler Hansbrough, I was like, man, you're the best college player, man. Like, you finna be great in the NBA. You was out in like 5 years, bro. Like, no, that doesn't translate to the next level. Man, Tyler Lawson, oh, he fast, little quick guard, man. He can play, man. He should be a pretty good point guard. His environment, once again, pulled him back instead of pushing him forward. OJ Mayo is a bucket. Dude can play. He can hoop. He got kicked out the league for like 5 years. He got given ability. I remember seeing him on the cover of Slam when he first signed to USC. God given ability was crazy. He is no can't nobody put the ball in the hole like he can. Michael
Mm-hmm.
Beasley is a bucket, bro. Like I'm talking about just easy. Like what's his nickname? Something easy. I forgot something easy in it, but he got a nickname something easy. He's a bucket, man. Like, but there's a reason why we're not talking about this. There's a reason why these guys aren't in the league. Number one, there's a reason why we're not
Mm-hmm.
talking about them as the greats. Michael Beasley was a number 2 overall pick. OJ Mayo was like a top 5 pick. He might have been number 4, something like that. He's a top 10 pick. I'll say that. Like these guys are really good players, great players. I'll say. What separates them is something else that they're missing. There's a homeboy that everybody hoop with. I remember this old show. It's not that old, but Open Court. We talked about uh folks in the neighborhood, how they made it to the next level and they didn't. And everybody had this guy who was a little bit better than them growing up. Chris Webber had his story. Shaq had his story. Chuck had his story. And it's just like, man, these guys had a certain head start on them. They were better than them. But I drove myself to work harder than you now. If I'm not the best guy in my neighborhood, but I'm in the NBA now, what does that say? So yeah, you might have had a head start on me if you've been a better player than I was at the same time, but I walked you down now. So now what? You can't say it's talent because you were more talented than me. At some point, I walked you down because our talent was the same, or you might have been ahead of me, but my skill caught me up to you. So that's why I feel like yes, God given plays a big role into it. I'll never discredit God and what He does for, as far as anybody's greatness. He's the first and the last with all that. He's gonna do all the respect. But God gives us all something, and it's up to us to take that initiative and really push it to the next level. So God
Mm-hmm.
gave us all. Everybody has a 30-meter head start on something in their life. So when it comes to basketball, yeah, you might have 30-meter head start. Everybody, Kobe had it. Somebody had it before Kobe, but Kobe walked that person down and outworked them. And I'm not saying hard work should be the end all be all, because I said before, like you get to a certain level of hard work, it's just like the bare minimum. That's the entry ticket to get you in the door. They ain't the VIP. They ain't even talking about the backstage patch. I'm talking about just to get you in the door. To that's what hard work is. So what separates you really is the mindset, and are you willing to outwork the next person to you know? And so that's why I feel like skill, and when it comes to the GOAT level, you have to be more skilled and more technically sound in certain stuff than the next person to you. Like Venus and Serena in the same household, but Serena is a couple steps ahead when we're talking about that GOAT level stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I feel like skills is just it's a bigger piece of that pie chart than when we're talking about genetics. You know, so this is an interesting debate, man. I don't think we're gonna come to resolutions as far as disagreeing, man.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
definitely. We definitely gonna have to probably agree to disagree, man. We can probably talk about this for a good few more hours, but don't nobody want to hear that all day, man. But I like what you said though. Like you did, you definitely made some fair points, and like you almost got me. Y'all, hey, yeah, hey, you almost got me. But I just, I just see it. I just see like, hey, at the end of the day, man, shout out to God, man.
Yeah,
God, God out here blessing us with plenty of talent and athleticism and all this other stuff, IQ, And like we said, if y'all ain't take nothing else away from this episode, take what the Lord gave you and work on it. Work hard at it to cultivate it and be the best at whatever that may be. Because we all have some level of genius, as my boy quoted Jay-Z on. We all have some level of genius inside us. Make sure you do what it takes to cultivate that and be the best version of you that you could possibly be. It ain't necessarily got to be a great athlete. You ain't got to be a great basketball player, tennis player, football, baseball, whatever. You ain't got to do none of that. You could be a great teacher. You could be a great coach. You could be a great doctor. You could be a great lawyer. You could be a great mechanic. So whatever you want to do, cultivate that into what you want it to be and become who you want to become. And we're gonna leave it right there for the day, man. But we hope y'all enjoyed this episode, man. Hope y'all enjoyed the debate. Y'all hop down in the comments and let us know who y'all agree with, what y'all think develops the GOAT more than anything else. Do y'all believe it's a God-given thing, or do y'all believe that it's more hard work determines who becomes the GOAT at whatever they decide to do? And so y'all let us know who y'all really agree with, man. But y'all be sure to like and subscribe, man. Be sure to subscribe, man. We appreciate y'all for listening to the Bello. Be sure to follow mine on all social medias at BeBall Jones. That's BeBall Jones on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and on TikTok. So be sure to go follow him up on all those platforms. So then go follow me at NellyH34 on Twitter, at Nelson.Haskell on IG, and just find me at my name on Facebook. Like you keep the conversation going over there. And that does it for us, man. Be sure to tune in next week for another episode. And we appreciate y'all for listening once again, man. And without further ado, man, we out.